Hi, my name is John Olsheimer, and I am a credit expert who contributes to CreditCardInsider.com. Today's question is this: what if I do the wrong math for a tip on a receipt when I pay with a credit card at a restaurant? This is a very good question. I think most of us go out to eat, some of us go out to eat too often, and pay for our dinners using a credit card and leave a tip on the receipt when you're paying for your meal. I actually let my son do that because he enjoys, doing the math on the receipt. And so the question is, well, what if I screw up somewhere? What if I leave a total that doesn't necessarily jive with the total of the bill plus my tip? Or what if I don't put a total in at all? Or what if I forget to sign it? What if I do something wrong with respect to the receipt that I get at a restaurant? Here's the deal. There is no uniform answer to that question, meaning that when you leave a receipt behind that has some problem with it, then it's really up to the restaurant and how they're going to interpret that. So you're leaving it up for interpretation, which could be a problem because you may not necessarily have intended to leave as much of a tip as they think that you've left on the receipt. So it underscores the importance of filling out each of those sections properly, making sure that your math is accurate, and actually signing the card. When you sign those receipts, you're actually entering into a binding agreement that you will agree to pay the amount on the bill. And so if you sign it with someone else's name, or if you let your kids sign it, or if you sign it with a different hand that you normally write with, or otherwise leave a signature that's not yours, including a blank, then that doesn't necessarily absolve you from your obligation to make the payment. So if you're going to try to play that game, you probably should think twice about it. If you get a bill for $10 and you leave a tip of $5, first off, that's a 50% tip and you're very generous, and that's great of you. The total of that should be $15. However, if you put $12 or $18, the restaurant might charge you the actual amount that you left in the total field, because they may believe that you intended to leave an amount of a tip that will cause the final balance to be that larger amount. However, some restaurants that are going to be more conservative are going to actually tally the balance with your tip and actually come up with a total on their own, which may not necessarily jive with what you've put on the receipt. The reason you have two schools of thought is because if you get home and you realize when you check your balance online or when you get your statement in the mail or it's emailed to you, you may look at that and say, that's not right. That balance, I did not charge that amount of money at that particular restaurant. And if you keep your receipts, like most people do not, however they should, you can actually go back and see, wait a minute, this is off by X number of dollars, and so I'm going to contact my credit card issuer. I'm going to challenge or dispute the charge. Your credit card issuer is then going to go back to the restaurant and say, hey, look, this person says that they did not intend to leave $15. You charged $15. They really intended to only leave $12. What is the actual amount? And there's a potential that the credit card issuer will charge back the amount to the restaurant, and then the proper amount will be charged. And it's a headache. It's a headache for you. It's a headache for the credit card issuer. It's a headache for the restaurant. And if you believe that the restaurant did something unfair to you or kind of underhanded to you, you may never go back to the restaurant again. So the restaurant, remember, at the end of the day, the restaurant owner doesn't necessarily care how much you leave as a tip. That goes to the waiter or waitress or bartender. The restaurant owner cares that you pay for your meal. That's where they make their money. So they're generally going to be more conservative because they don't want a ticked off customer who may tell people, post it on Facebook, put a copy of the receipt on Instagram, and all of a sudden it goes viral. It's just bad PR for the restaurant. So they're generally going to err on the more conservative side. But it also underscores the importance of you actually taking the time. I know most people are in a hurry when they get done because they want to get out of the restaurant and go home or go out. But they also want to make sure that you take just a few seconds to make sure you put the proper amount that you intended in the tip field and you do the math properly. And most people have a phone that has a calculator on it, so there's really no excuse for getting the math wrong. And then signing the receipt and then leaving it, taking a copy with you that is an identical copy of the one that you left behind. Wait until the end of the month, correlating the two charges or the charge with the receipt from your statement, and ensuring that someone is actually processing the receipt as you intended it to be processed. If you have any other questions pertaining to credit or other financial topics, please submit them to creditcardinsider.com or in the comments section below. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.